I really think it's important for everyone to kind of reanalyze this. I like the fact that you want us to go and just look at where you want to tip the scale into which favor a little bit, and realize that everyone's got 24 hours. So you have to decide if you're going to pour more time into one thing, you are going to take away time from another. That's just the fact of life. But how many times have you looked at other people and considered them successful and have that immediate jealousy, wondering how did they achieve that? Like, we grew up at the same time, more or less the same life, more or less the same environment, same type of parents, same type of cars that we drove, went to church, went to school, all that stuff. But maybe you don't match up financially. Maybe that person's got a way better relationship with their kid or their daughter or whatever. Maybe that person just has a very good spiritual life, and he's got very good religion in his life, and you admire that. You always meet new friends, people, acquaintances, and immediately assess their level of success without even realizing you do it. And most of us beckon the question, how do they do that? It seems like we have an seemingly equal launch pad, and like we got dealt the same kind of cards, but one guy's just more successful than the other. That is what makes this episode so interesting, is because you don't know the behind the scenes, how many sacrifices that person had to make in one of those areas, whether it's spiritual or family or friendships or whatever it might be, being at work a lot in order to reach an obscene amount of success in one of those regions. It's very, very seldom that you'll find people that's got their, all those areas covered all at once.
We have to address one core function right here, right now, and that's the fact that everything in life demands a sacrifice. Once you understand that this is a universal law, you can see that it actually applies to so many different parts of your life.
The thing is, what I don't realize is that the long-term joy of being healthy is what's actually important. But the short-term dopamine of doing the activity is not there. It's not enjoyable. Sometimes it is. I mean, some days, yes, it's nice crushing it out in the gym. But most days
not,
you get so used to it, and you just don't want to do it, But you tend to forget the long-term joy that it might bring. So in my holistic view, I need to realize that in order to make this sacrifice, it truly is a sacrifice. I have to let go of the fact that I'm not going to get dopamine. I would rather want to sit and watch an episode of Survivor. And you can choose to sit and watch Netflix the whole day. And that's going to give you the dopamine. But you're going to feel terrible afterwards because you just stole happiness, because going to the gym would be one step closer to the long-term success of being
I'm
fit.
so glad that you brought that up. And I totally agree with you, because if we have to have a look at it at a different angle as well, the same angle, different example, right, is if you take, for instance, look, we all want nice things in our lives, right? We all want to splurge money. We all want to buy great things. We all want the fancy car in the driveway, and we want the nice white picket fence, awesome double-story house with a pool, with a jacuzzi, whatever you want, right? Like, we all want those type of things. But in most of our lives, let's be honest, we're talking to average Joes here, we have to sort of decide, right? There's a scale that we have to decide, or a balance that we need to strike between the two. We can't have a Ferrari in the driveway and live in a mansion, right? We have to decide. So which way can we go? We can go and say, I'm going to buy the Ferrari and I'm going to live in a tiny little apartment, right? That's what I'm going to do. Or I'm going to live in a mansion and I'm going to just buy a basic car. So either way, we have to sort of tip the scales a little bit to say, what is important to me in my life and where am I willing to sacrifice? So I'm going to sacrifice on the car because to me, I want a big, nice house that when people come and visit, there's more than enough space for everyone. I've got all of the great stuff. I've got a jacuzzi. I've got a pool. I've got everything that I need. I've got a nice braai area, all of those type of things, right? But then I just drive a basic car. Or we strike an equal balance to say, I'm going to have a decent enough house to live in and I'm going to have a decent enough car. If you've derived some great value from our show thus far, please take a second to rate and review us on the platform that you're tuned in on. This will really help us to grow the show and reach more and more people, to spread the positivity and change more and more lives. So it will literally just take you a second to rate and review us, and who knows, perhaps you could directly be responsible for changing someone's life today. We look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Until then, cheers.